James Harden is one of the flashiest and most unstoppable scorers in NBA history. Only 3 years ago, he averaged a ridiculous 34.3 points a game, and the year before, an insane 36.1 points per game. That was the highest single season scoring average since Michael Jordan. Some NBA players love Harden, but a lot of people around the NBA hate him because of his flopping and lack of defense. Let's see what NBA legends have to say about James Harden. Michael Jordan. Jordan is still considered the GOAT basketball player by much of the basketball world, so his opinion definitely carries some weight. Usually Jordan saves his compliments and high praise for players who are signed to the Jordan brand, and usually he doesn't really have much to say about anyone else. Just look at how he went from being fond of Dwayne Wade to bitter towards him when he left the brand for Li Ning. But Harden's been signed to Adidas for years now, and Jordan had this to say about his scoring ability when Harden was close to breaking his scoring record in 2019. I think all records are a sense of pride for the work that you put into the game. So yeah, I'm happy to have it. I'm happy to have it because I think it showcases actually how much you practice and the effort that I put into it. I think what you're seeing in James Harden is the same thing. He's not doing this off the whim. It's something that he's worked at and he's perfected to the point where the results are starting to show. Hey yo, Harden got a cosign from the GOAT himself. The same GOAT that usually reserves his kind words for only his signed athletes said Harden has perfected the art of scoring. MJ clearly loves Harden's ability as a player and has high respect for the now 76ers guard. Allen Iverson. AI was a generational talent that shifted the very fabric of the NBA, both in how the game is played and the culture of the league and style. The man many call the pound-for-pound best player to ever do it had this to say about Harden when asked if his play style deserves criticism. No way, that man has so much talent, he's so great, and he deserves all the praise that he gets. There's always going to be a critic out there. There's always going to be someone saying, you can do something else better than what you're doing. I just think he needs to keep his foot to the floor and keep rocking, man, keep doing his thing. Now, this was back in 2020 when the narrative around Harden around the league was way more positive. I'm not some type of, biased meat writer that's just gonna say Harden is great no matter what. So here's some constructive criticism for Harden that Iverson gave during their series against Toronto Raptors last year after Game 6. I don't see James being as aggressive as he should be. I want to see him more aggressive. But James tries to play the game the right way, tries to get everybody involved and all that. I think we need one of those James Harden games that he's won multiple scoring titles with. We need him to be extremely aggressive and not worry so much about getting everybody involved, but still trying to play the game the right way. This lack of aggressiveness and willingness to defer to other players and not take so many shots may be partially why people have been so critical of Harden and called him washed these days. In my opinion, it actually makes sense for him to defer to a player like Embiid at this point in his career, just because Harden can't quite get into the lane like he used to be able to, and he's really not the ISO scorer that he was on the Rockets. But then again, taking 11 shots in a closeout game is unacceptable from a star player. They need him to dominate in those playoff situations, and that big game performance has been one of the biggest knocks on Harden in his career thus far. Which leads us to the next NBA legend's take on Harden. You knew it was coming, Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley is one of the best known faces in the league and is known for his hilarious and often polarizing takes on various topics on Inside the NBA. He does not mince words at all when criticizing Harden's game. Here's what he had to say about Harden when he got traded from Brooklyn to the 76ers, and then the Sixers got blown out at home by the Nets with Harden going 3 for 17 from the field. James Harden, when you get that reputation, he struggled in all big games. If you go back and look, even when he was in Houston, when they should have beat the Golden State Warriors, they were up until Chris Paul got hurt. James is a terrific player, but when the lights are brightest, he's played awful. Clearly, Chuck is one of the many people that think James Harden's poor play in big moment games is a huge stain on his reputation, and that it will continue to be until he proves people wrong with a true clutch performance. LeBron James. LeBron is still the face of the NBA, and although he is 37 years of age, he's shown no signs of slowing down anytime soon, still putting up dominant offensive displays and carrying the Lakers. He had this to say about James Harden after his Lakers gave up a 50-point triple-double to the Beard. Yeah, he's already talented offensively, can put the ball in the hole multiple ways, drive, step back threes. You can't put him on the line for 20 free throws. You can't put any of our scorers in the league that we have on the line 20 times because they'll see the ball go in. Bron gave Harden the praise. Clearly, LeBron understands Harden's skill in putting the ball in the basket and respects his ability to get free throws without blaming the refs for it. If only more people around the NBA space could understand Harden's ability to get free throws is a skill, not a sin. Kobe Bryant. The late Black Mamba was beloved throughout the world for his drive, passion for the game, work ethic, and epic scoring abilities in leading the Lakers to 5 championships. This is what he had to say about James Harden when asked if he and his teammates were on the path to championship glory in the NBA. The focus is there. It's amazing. If you look at Harden last year, he put up amazing numbers. He didn't make the All-NBA first team. He didn't make the All-NBA second team or even the All-NBA third team. If you look at their summer, they went in the trenches. They said, you know what? We're going to lock down. We're going to focus 100% on what our craft is. And they came back extremely focused, and here we are. So this was a very positive quote from Kobe, acknowledging and praising Harden's work ethic and hard work after being snubbed for All-NBA team accolade. However, Kobe did have some criticism for Harden and the Rockets back in the day as well. When asked if he thought the Rockets could win a championship during one of Harden's best seasons, Kobe correctly predicted, "I'm not a fan of it in terms of winning championships. I don't think that style's ever going to win championships. But at the same time, you have to keep your team's head above water to win games. You have to do what you have to do in order to win games. When you take one player at the top of the key or you put him in the wing, you're always in front of the defense. The defense can key in on that, particularly in the playoffs. And honestly, it's easy to defend. So definitely a mixed bag in the Mamba's opinion. He did give Harden some props in acknowledging that Harden's ball-dominant style was necessary at the time to win games, but the prediction that Harden would never win a championship sadly has been spot on so far, even after Bryant's unfortunate death. Paul Pierce. Although he was fired from ESPN for hopping on IG Live with a bunch of strippers giving him back rubs, he still has been active on other platforms to make sure his voice is still heard. He didn't hold back at all when he was on Gilbert Arenas' podcast talking about Harden. He questioned Harden's coachability, saying he thinks Harden didn't respect Steve Nash in Brooklyn, and he questioned his greatness, saying that he's played with too many future NBA Hall of Famers to not already have a ring. Pierce went on to say this, "Doc is going to do everything in his power to try to make them two work. But my thing is, when I look at that, Embiid right now is the best big in the game. But I'm like, if I had a chance to play with the talent that Harden's played with, I'd probably be walking out here with 5 championships. You play with all Hall of Famers, bro, and it ain't worked out yet." My first reaction when I heard this was actually to scoff at Pierce's statement, as he himself played for years with several Hall of Famers, including Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Rajon Rondo, and only got 1 ring to show for it. But honestly, upon looking at it deeper, Pierce only got KG by his side in 2007 and got his chip right after in 2008. Harden has played with future Hall of Famers since his rookie season and doesn't even have a final appearance to show for it since he's been in OKC. In fact, when I was looking at the list of players Harden's actually played with already, I couldn't help but look at Harden a bit differently after Pierce's comments. Harden's played with Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook again in Houston, Kevin Durant again in Brooklyn, and Kyrie Irving, and Joel Embiid. Dude has played with Hall of Famers damn near his whole career. What is interesting though is that Paul Pierce embodies what I mentioned earlier about what have you done for me lately. Because when Pierce was still on ESPN and Harden was playing at an MVP level, Pierce was quick to ride that Harden meat by saying he had the best crossover in the game. Said Pierce, "He's got the best crossover in the game. He has the most bodies. When you make someone touch the floor, that's a body. He has the most bodies." Isn't it funny how Pierce is quick to label Harden overrated and question his greatness as soon as his production dips a bit, but was all over his nuts when he was working for ESPN a few years back? What have you done for me lately? So yeah, that's it. That's what NBA legends think about James Harden. So like I said, man, pretty much a mixed bag. Some people like him, some people don't. I know a lot of fans hate Harden a lot, but yeah, man, what do you think? Leave a comment below, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.